Okay, guys. I kept on saying I was going to talk about the injuries. This is the perfect time to do it because I'm going to be doing a bit of mobility and just this is actually how I prefer to have my rest days. So on rest days, it's not just like sitting around. I like to work on my mobility and just the weak points in my fitness that actually were causing me so much discomfort. Like over here, I was not able to actually squat that deep for a very long period of time because my hips were just in an atrocious state. And I'm not even just talking about flexibility, I'm talking about just the strength of the tendons around my hips was just not there. So, and then compound that with the fact that I was running a lot. Like, guys, I was running at some point, I think I was running 5 to 7 Ks like 3 days a week. Mind you, that's without a proper training plan centered around like running. And then to make it worse, I was using like race day shoes on the wrong terrain and just beating up my body. Like it got so bad, my ankles and knees were cooked for some time. And of course, my hips being the ones that suffered the most. Like it was so bad. I had such tight hips. But and I did so many stretches, so many stretches. But then I realized I even got injured like doing some of these stretches because I was treating these exercises the same way you treat like hypertrophy exercise or whatever, like exercises that you're doing for the sake of like gaining muscle. I was treating them the same. So I pushed myself too hard, even with the stretching, and that actually set me back until I realized, okay, damn, I just need to like slow down and be very intentional with like my mobility training and recovery. The same concept applies. Like you have to do pretty much the same exercises over a long period of time for you to see the benefits. It's easy to get caught up in the whole like, oh, do this stretch, do that, progress to this, and you're gonna feel better. And it's just like, yo, the thing is, most of the advice that guys will give you, they're giving you because that's what worked for them after them doing it for a long period of time. So another injury I had was also my shoulder, right? Because of my ego, I'm pretty sure I described this like earlier in the video, or in another video actually. I was talking about how my shoulders were cooked, and I basically could not. Yeah, so my shoulders, or rather my left shoulder, and my trap, like just that whole upper left section of my back going into my chest even, and even like the intercostal muscles, like those are the muscles in between like your ribs. It was just cooked. I felt bruised. I felt like my range of motion was so actually the fact that I'm able to do this now without pain took me almost like a full year of just doing basic shit like this to regain sort of like the control over that area and sort of just like slowly rehab. See, the thing is, you're not gonna recover if you're just not doing anything about it. You actually have to train the injured area, but you have to do it in a way that obviously is not gonna be detrimental to you. So I was doing the face pulls and the I don't know what to call the first ones, but here I'm also training rotation. This is for my core, right? And I got this exercise because I saw like a combat athletes doing this, and I tried it, and I was like, damn, okay, yeah, your core is actually supposed to move like that, right? Rotation. So doing this is pretty much you're working on your core strength. You know, sometimes I realized I never really liked training abs because my perception of training abs was more of the hypertrophy standpoint. Because I was saying, guys, like it was always just about aesthetics, you know, getting bigger and all of that. And then you realize there's a functional aspect of your body, right? And you have to take care of that. Otherwise, you are not going to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Because imagine having such a crazy physique, but not being able to translate that into, like, athleticism, or just simple quality of life things become affected by you not paying attention to these little details, like how your body is moving. And I'm sure you guys are familiar with the CBAM, 6-time Mr. Olympia. And I don't really follow bodybuilding like that anymore, but like I'm pretty sure if you've been on the internet within the last 4 or 5 years, you know who he is. If you're into fitness, that is. And if you see how he's training now, I see a lot of people like clowning him and being like, oh, his physique is not as crazy as it used to be. And it's like, bro, there's so many aspects to fitness that people just overlook all of that because of the external things, like, the way you look and all that. But if you look at him now and how he's training, you can clearly tell, like, his quality of life has gone up just from him focusing on the things that matter in relation to your ability to do basic things. Like even this, which I also don't know what to call. I just know it works. But this was something that was even painful for me to do. Like just raising my knees to the same level as my hip or even higher and holding that position was a pain in the ass. And I really attribute this to, again, running without having a proper routine. As I'm saying, guys, if you actually enjoy doing athletic activities, you are probably going to benefit just as much as like a bodybuilder, just as much as a powerlifter, Olympic, whatever it is that you're doing, guys, you need to add this to your routine. It's not going to build you any muscles, but it's going to make sure you can build muscles effectively without having to deal with the small inconveniences. And it's easy to just be like on some David Goggins like shit and be like, oh, push through the pain. But guys, I'm sorry to say, but that's high risk, low reward behavior, because fitness is about longevity, right? And that's something that I began to understand after making all the mistakes I made, right? Sure, I'm not telling you not to go hard or like to just never ignore pain, because pain is your body telling you that you are messing up somewhere and you need to address that by trying to understand where that pain is coming from. Now, for core, I think this is just leg raises, and then at the end of the rep, it's actually dark as shit. I forgot to turn on the flash while I was recording, but you guys can still see what I'm doing, so yeah, fuck you. So it's just leg raises, and then at the top I add that little thrust at the end. And guys, I shit you not, I was not even able to do like 5 reps of these like 6 months ago. That's how weak my core was. Like, sometimes you look at a physique and you're like, oh, maybe, yeah, this guy's abs are so cut. They're so, oh my gosh, yeah, he probably has like abs of steel and he can like plank for like 10 minutes. But like, there's so many ways of training that some of the ways that you train don't actually train everything that you're trying to train. I don't know if you understand what I mean. So training for functional strength and training for aesthetics is different, is what I'm saying. Like, you can find someone has like a crazy 6-pack, but when it comes to functionality, there is none, because, that's just the aesthetic aspect of it. And so one thing that actually made me enjoy training abs, because trust me, guys, like, abs is like second to legs in terms of me not wanting to train them, but training them functionally made me enjoy, because I actually started seeing the benefits of training my core functionally, like just in day-to-day life, and even in my other lifts, it was helping me like so much more with my stability and power generation. Now, this is probably the best thing that I ever did in my life, to train my hips. Now, you guys know your hips go inwards and outwards, or like they also are part of you, let's say, moving your leg away from your body and bringing your leg towards your body. So that's basically what I'm doing here. I'm training that isometrics in those positions, like out in, out in, out in. As you can see, I'm also resisting the weight as like my leg is coming back to my body, just to like, because it's the movement that I'm bad at. I'm not just like trying to hold in one position for like forever. I'm trying to get my muscles used to moving in and out of those positions, right? So this obviously is not very hard to do, but when I first started doing it, it was so intense. Like, even just trying to hold it in that position for like 10 seconds, I felt like my hip was about to pop out of its socket just because of the amount of tension and my body not being used to it. But it helped, guys. Like, it's almost like magic. And if you're familiar with like the whole, right now, there's a bit of like a diversion of people in the fitness industry. There's people talking about like fascia-based training now, which essentially is what I'm doing, because I am training the isometrics, which somehow is better at training the fascia than, the traditional hypertrophy exercises, right? But I'm not trying to say like that's the best way of training, because the thing is, I believe in like the philosophy of like Jeet Kune Do, man. Like, just pick, of course that's about martial arts, but I think it applies to everything in life. Just pick what works for you and implement it into your routine. So instead of getting confused about like what style of training you should do, just be objective with it. Like, my hips felt like absolute bullshit. So I was like, yo, I need to find something that is not going to replace necessarily the exercises I'm doing for legs, but it's going to supplement it. And once I started thinking like that, I was able to sort of balance training my mobility with training for strength or hypertrophy. I haven't actually been training for strength, though. I'm not in a strength training arc right now. I will be eventually, but right now I'm just trying to master my body with my body weight, and a little bit of weights here and there, but like, I'm not really on a strength training arc right now. I'm just fixing all the problems that I ignored while I was still a noob in the gym or in fitness, and just, a stubborn, impatient guy, So these sessions actually take a bit longer, because this is like a physiotherapy session. Like, it might not look like you're doing much, but the strain on your brain is a lot more than, it feels like I'm doing a top set every set, or that's how it felt, at least when I first started doing this like style of training. But over time you begin to appreciate it, because it hurts, but it hurts in a good way. And I also wanted to say, like, people are very scared of recovery, or not even scared. They think recovery is supposed to be some easy, quick 1-2 fix. But, recovery is something that takes, you see professionals all the time getting injured and just being off of the field or out of the game or the competitions for like almost a whole year. And you begin to understand after you start dealing with your own injuries that, it really is that deep. Like, it's something that's quite mentally, physically draining, and it's not painless. It's not a painless process. But that's the thing. Like,